You know, sometimes when you play a game for the first time and it's full of twists and turns and story beats that you weren't expecting, and a story that will last with you for a long time with amazing gameplay elements to boot. Well, this game that I'm talking about today, Dreamed Away, is one of them. But before we get cracking on with this indie RPG review, hello, John aka Chicken Fillets here. If you like JRPGs, indie RPGs, and a wee Scottish guy talk about, well, please consider subscribing to the channel. Now, but before we get cracking on with the review for Dreamed Away, I'd like to thank Nicholas Petton for the review copy. Now, everything in this video is of my own thoughts. Now let's talk Tale of the Taped. Dreamed Away is being developed by Nicholas Petton, being published by Pineapple Works, and releases on the 23rd of October 2025, and it will be released for Steam, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox. Now, today's game has been reviewed via Steam, and I have played this exclusively on the Steam Deck, and for clarity, the model that I've played on is the Steam Deck OLED model. So let's discuss the story first of all. So let's give the official synopsis of the game. On a rainy summer night, Theo wakes up in his bedroom and realises his parents and sister Louise have disappeared. The true nature of the world lays itself bare. Ghosts, phantoms, and revenants haunt Theo inside the catacombs and dark places where he searches for his sister, always a step behind and never able to catch up. What happened? What does it mean? Why is this place so familiar? That's how his journey begins. Now, the story of Dreamed Away is one I honestly, hand on heart, did not expect. This game was touted as a psychological horror game, and when you look at it from the outset with its pixel artwork, reminiscent of the likes of an Earthbound 90s RPG, this is a story which I did not expect in any way, shape or form. It really freaked me out, to be quite honest with you, in a good way, because this has got a story which kept me guessing, kept me thinking about what was actually going to happen next, trying to figure out what is actually going on in the background, how some of the events are unfolding, and the mysteries of the likes of Louise, what's happening with Theo, and the world around him. Now, the great thing with this story is that on your first run through, you'll want to be playing a second run through straight away. One, obviously, because the story in this game is really, really good, but secondly is that there's multiple endings to this game, and you'll want to achieve those by doing different story beats within the game. There's various choices within the story which will affect various outcomes. I honestly feel that the story with this is going to resonate with players, and it's going to build a big following. It has strong emotions with this, and you'll be wanting to delve more into the mysteries of this world. Now, usually at this section of the review, I would usually go straight onto gameplay, but I want to talk about the presentation of the game because it goes hand in hand with the story. Now, when you look at this game from the outlook, it looks like a colourful 90s influenced RPG akin to the likes of Earthbound, which yes, it is. It's got gorgeous pixel art. What the developer has really achieved is a really dark, harrowing atmosphere when the story requires it. There was parts of the story which actually made me jump with little jump scares here and there, the way that the colourful outset of the world would go dark and bleak. I have played a fair amount of indie JRPGs, RPGs in my time which have used pixel art, but the usage of pixel art within this game is something I've not seen before, and it is amazing for that. Now, as I mentioned as well, I was playing this on a Steam OLED deck, so those colours really pop out, and when it's dark, oh, it is dark. Now let's talk a little bit about the gameplay. Let's talk about the traversal first of all, because as I've said a few times already, this is inspired by the likes of your Earthbound and your pixel art RPGs of yonder year. You're able to interact with the world around you and the varying and memorable NPCs of the world. The game will also throw some light puzzles at your way, which had me head scratching a good few times, but when you do pass those puzzles, man, what a feeling. But the main part of the gameplay is the action-based / turn-based combat of this game. Let me explain how. So the easiest way I could describe this game is that the battle system has been inspired by the likes of Undertale. So with this, you have a square grid in front of you. You'll have your character Theo at the bottom of the screen whilst your enemy is at the top. Now, there is various things which will happen in this. So let's talk about when the enemy attacks you. Now, the enemies will have varying attack patterns. Now, dependent on the attack pattern, you will have to move Theo from side to side to dodge attacks. If you get hit by flying objects or whatever your enemy is using, you're obviously going to take damage. Now, this is where the turn-based side comes out, because you're able to attack or use focus, so you'll be able to up your attack power or run if you have to, or use various healing items. But when you use an attack, a menu comes up on the screen and you're going to want to try and get the indicator in the middle of this bar, and that will give you maximum damage. Now, if you get it dead in center, you'll unlock a combo and you'll be able to take another turn again. And you can also combo for a second time, building up your attack points and then unleashing a lot of damage on the enemy. Sometimes you can even one-hit kill the enemy if you're that good at that combo section, or lucky in my perspective. Now, there is also times where a QTE section comes up. Now, if you are able to successfully follow the QTE cues, then you will not be attacked by the enemy. Now, it may sound easy, but the QTEs move around the screen. They can be changing the red square that you have to get the arrows into. That can move about. So each battle will keep you on your toes. And I have to admit here that with this, I started the game on regular. And I was struggling with this because I kept on getting beaten up essentially by regular enemies. So the good thing with this game as well, it has various difficulty settings. So I dropped this down to Dreamer section. So essentially your easy mode, making the battles a little bit easier on my part, less damage, etc. Or if you want to be insane, then you are able to bump it up to hard and the battles will be quicker. And the attacks that the enemy will be a lot higher. It is up to you how you want to play. Another important aspect of any indie RPG or a AAA RPG is the music which accompanies the game. Now with this, it has got a different kind of soundtrack that I'd be usually used to. In a lot of the RPGs which I play, I love the likes of your heavy rock tracks, etc. But the music which has been composed for this game matches. So for example, when you're in the psychological sections of the game, it is accompanied by a dark soundscape, or when you're exploring towns, for example, it's got a more upbeat, relaxed feel to it compared to the other sections of the game. It's different from what I'm used to, but it fits perfectly for this game. Now let's talk a bit about the performance side of the game. How does it run? Now, as I mentioned, I played this exclusively on the Steam Deck on the OLED model. Now, the size of the pre-build when I installed it was over about 700 megabytes, so it's very small and will not take up much room in your hard drive. Now, when it comes to the FPS, well, with this being a retro game, I'm happy to say that it was running at a smooth 90 frames per second, and when it comes to battery life as well, it was showing on my Steam Deck that if I was just to do this on a full session, it was about 7 hours, 7 to 8 hours runtime that I was receiving. Overall, Dreamed Away was a fantastic experience, and it is a title which I feel will build a big following due to its story and its gameplay. The story kept me fully engaged throughout my 7 to 8 hour playtime of my first playthrough, and I was wanting to go straight into my second run. Now, if you're still on the fence for this game, currently there is still a demo available that you can download off Steam to get your first-hand experience of this title. So the game, I'm happy to say, will receive the Chicken Fillets rating of Play It. This is a game that I would highly recommend to anyone who's looking for a shorter adventure steeped with heavy story, a fantastic gameplay loop as well. So there we have it, that is my review for Dreamed Away for the Steam Deck. Is this a title that you're looking to pick up yourself? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, if you like what you're hearing and seeing on this channel, please help me grow it by liking, sharing and subscribing. And if you want to be kept up to date with everything Chicken Fillets, you know what to do, hit that notification bell. This has been John, aka Chicken Fillets, and until next time, tatty bye.